Good evening, everyone. My name is Nola Krasky, and I'm the president with the Golden Chamber of Commerce, and I am honored to be here tonight to welcome you all to this year's annual State of the City. Tonight, you're going to have the opportunity to hear from our city's leadership about their successes of 2023 as well as the goals of 2024. Tonight's event is co-hosted by the City of Golden as well as the Golden Chamber of Commerce, and I'm pleased to have this opportunity to share a little bit about the Golden Chamber of Commerce with you all and talk a little bit about the work that we do in our community. So the Golden Chamber of Commerce was founded in April of 1920, which puts us in our 104th anniversary year right now. And over the course of that time, of course, Golden has grown and changed and evolved, and so the needs have evolved as well. So the last couple of years, our board has really spent quite a great deal of time taking a look at the chamber, who we are, what we do, who we serve, how we serve them, and really diving deep into all of that. And through that, created this manifesto and released this last year. We believe every business in Golden has a place in the community because every business has a stake in helping Golden thrive. Strong businesses need flourishing communities that in turn feed more growth and opportunity for all. We complete that golden circle by connecting people, business leaders, thinkers, doers, citizens, neighbors. The Golden Chamber of Commerce creates a foundation for success, a springboard for growth, and a platform for support. It's how we unlock the spirit that drives Golden. Join us and find your place under the arch. So I wanted to introduce that manifesto tonight because I think it's really important to not only the work that the Chamber does, but that the city is doing too. And I think there's a lot of alignment that we're going to hear about tonight. So a little bit about the Golden Chamber. We are a small organization powered by a team of amazing individuals. Our team is made up of hard workers who care about our community, who care about our businesses, and who want to provide support. And our team gets it. Our team is made up of small business owners or former small business owners, so we truly understand the work that goes into running a business. We are a 501c6 nonprofit organization, so we are governed by a board of directors, an incredibly talented board of directors, a few of whom I think are in the room here tonight. Our board is a reflection of our chamber membership. They represent a variety of industries, of business sizes, and of business locations in the greater Golden area. This is a little bit hard to read, so I apologize, but there are some business guides out at the front, and we've got this in here, so feel free to grab one on your way out this evening. But this talks a little bit about the chamber, who we are, and what we strive to do. We are a membership-based organization, so our business community elects to join the Chamber of Commerce. They fill out an application, they pay annual dues, and through that membership, they receive benefits from us. We work to bring people together through that membership to provide opportunities for networking, for visibility, for growth, for advocacy, for credibility, connection, community engagement, and professional development. In addition to that, we are constantly trying to serve our community, our residents, and our locals as best as we can. Our team likes to joke, we call ourselves the Golden Google. We receive and field phone calls about everything you can possibly imagine in our office, and our role really is to help connect people in our community to the resources they need, no matter what they are, and trust me, we get a little bit of everything at our Golden Google. So this is a snapshot of 2023. So again, as I mentioned, we're a membership-based organization, and so throughout the year, we see those members kind of come and go as businesses come and go in our community. At the end of 2023, we ended the year with 371 businesses that had all joined the Chamber of Commerce. Again, as those businesses come and go, our retention rate changes, but we ended the year with just under 83% retention rate, meaning that those who joined, about 83% of them were still members at the end of the year from the beginning of the year. And over the course of the year, we had 50 new businesses join the Chamber of Commerce last year. As far as the businesses that join the chamber, again, it's a little bit of everyone from the largest to the smallest. However, the majority of our businesses definitely are in that small or very, very small category. As you can see, the top two tiers there add up to 67%. So 67% of our members are companies that have between 1 and 9 employees total. So again, very small businesses. We also represent a huge number of types of businesses, but the largest category of businesses that we represent are business and professional services, followed by restaurants, food and beverages, and then it kind of goes on from there, but definitely our business and professional services are our largest group of members. So we strive to bring our community together and to provide opportunities for our members. And what that looked like in 2023 is that we celebrated 18 different business milestones by offering a ribbon cutting for those businesses. And that can be anything from a grand opening to a special anniversary celebration. But we were able to celebrate 18 different businesses with a ribbon cutting last year. We had 76 different chamber events, and those are things such as a lunch and learn, our monthly Vibe at 5, which is our business after hours event. We host a monthly coffee get together, and we had a full day professional development seminar. So we had a wide variety of ways for our businesses to connect. And through those 76 different opportunities, we had 537 attendees. We also do a lot of work within our community to connect people and bring them together through our large-scale community events. So the Golden Chamber of Commerce owns and operates the Golden Farmers Market, which has been operating for over 20 years now. Last year, we had 95 unique vendors at the farmers market across the 18 different weekends of the market. The Golden Fine Arts Festival is one of the events that we run as well. And we co-host the beer tasting and chili cook-off with the Coors Distributing Company every year. We also play a pivotal role in the Old Golden Holidays Committee and help to bring all the holiday activities to our community. So through those 4 different community events, the Chamber had 195 different volunteers giving 795 hours last year. And we had 29 different businesses that stepped up as sponsors and provided a financial contribution for those community events. So we're really proud of the work that we do to bring a lot of fun and a lot of engagement here in Golden. So I'm going to go back to our manifesto for just a moment. One of my favorite sentences in there is, strong businesses need flourishing communities that in turn feed more growth and opportunity for all. And that's really what we're here for tonight, is to talk about our community and how it can be the best and the strongest that it can be. But in order for this to happen, in order for our community to truly flourish, we first need to seek to understand. And the Chamber does that by actively listening and paying attention to a wide variety of issues that impact not only the Golden community, but the state and the nation as a whole. So we pay attention to state and local legislation, homelessness, affordable and workforce housing, workforce development and the talent pipeline, economic impact of tourism, and food systems and food insecurity. Those are all ways that we were involved sitting on committees or participating in local events last year to really understand these issues and what they mean for our community and what they mean for our businesses. At our core, the Golden Chamber of Commerce is in the business of building relationships. That's what we are here to do. We strive to be a catalyst of business growth and support, a convener of leaders and decision makers, and a champion of our members and of the entire Golden community. We are proud to put our manifesto into action tonight as we all convene here with our city's leadership and learn more about the work that they are doing to help our community of Golden flourish. So with that, please join me in welcoming Mayor Laura Weinberg for the annual State of the City Address.
Thank you, Nola. It is great to be here and see all of you tonight. It's so nice to have this opportunity for the state of the city. Really want to thank the Chamber of Commerce for partnering with the City of Golden to put on this event. And just start by saying we all know that Golden is more than just the people who sleep here at night, the residents of Golden. It's all of the business owners who own and lease space here in the city. It's all of the employees who commute into the city every day and spend their daytime hours here. And it's all of the volunteers who live outside the city but choose to donate their time and energy to some of the amazing nonprofits that are here in Golden. Collectively, we all are part of the community of Golden, and I truly believe that it is a privilege to be able to call this my community and the place where I live. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for contributing, for paying attention, for being part of this Golden community. So if I haven't met you, and I see a lot of familiar faces, I'm Mayor Laura Weinberg. We're reflecting on the state of the city on last year, 2023, and last year was the end of my first term as mayor, and 2024 marks the start of a final 4-year term. I didn't get a chance to do a State of the City my first couple of years because we weren't having any events those first couple of years. So this is only my third State of the City. But what I will say is each of those years we've tried something different. At a different time of day, a different format, and I'm really encouraged by this idea that we keep trying and innovating and making our city events more inclusive. This event is open and free to anybody who wants to know what's going on in the city. So really appreciate how we are able to open things up and make sure the city is available to anybody who wants to know more. So thank you all for being here. We have, while I'm the one talking, I'm not the one who does all the things that we did in 2023 and 2024. We have an amazing city council, many of whom are here this evening. So I'm going to call them out. Hopefully they'll give a little wave. But we have Mayor Pro Tem Rob Reed. We have Councilor Fisher, Councilor Vitry, Councilor Evans, Councilor Cameron, and Councilor Hazeman are not here this evening, but that's our council for 2024. I also want to take a moment to recognize that the great work from 2023 also included our former councilors, Casey Brown and JJ Trout. So we are really fortunate to be represented by such great, dedicated public servants in our city council. I agree. Yeah, they deserve lots of applause. So as I mentioned, State of the City, we typically give a look back, all the accomplishments of the prior year, and we're going to do that. But it's May, so we're partway through this year. So I'm going to talk a lot about this year as well, especially because most things we do in the city don't start and end in one calendar year. So we'll cover a couple of years tonight. And I just want to start by saying again this year that the City of Golden is in an incredibly strong position. That's both financially as well as operationally. And that's really important. And it's something I have been able to say each year that I have done this, because it's really in times of strength, when your operations are running well, when you have a strong reserve and a strong budget, that you're able to make those investments. You're able to spend your resources, your time, your finances into initiatives that are going to ensure that continuing success long into the future. So we're really fortunate to be in that position here in Golden, and our priorities and initiatives really reflect that position that we're in now. Before I talk about the things that we're doing, I'm going to give just a little review. And most of you know this, but I'm going to do it anyways, because maybe some of you don't, and that is the role of City Council. So City Council defines the priorities for the city. So the things that were prioritized for 2023, the things that we've prioritized for 2024, City Council prioritizes through our annual strategic action plan, the annual budget, and the annual capital improvement plan, the CIP. We have lots of priorities in the city and a lot of work that the city does. I talk often, and if you read the current Golden Informer. I talked about it in there, but we are a full-service city. That means that City Council, when we set our priorities, we are looking at things like water, wastewater, drainage, as well as things like fire and EMS services. We're assigning budget to streets and sidewalks just like we are for parks, recreation, and open space. So there are many priorities in many areas of the city. I'm not going to cover all of them tonight because I only have 20 minutes to talk, but I'm going to highlight some of the major accomplishments for 2023 and 2024. So when I was trying to summarize, right, and look at all the things that we've done and all the things that we're planning to do, I'm like, how do I group this? How do I make this, something that's understandable? And I really came up with kind of two overarching focus areas that I think we've been talking about a lot in the city, that I know I think about a lot in the work that we do. And those two areas are, first, improving the quality of life for the people who are in Golden now. The second is making those strategic investments, those initiatives that are going to make Golden successful in the future. And not a future meaning tomorrow or in 5 years, a future meaning 30, 50 years from now, because cities are enduring. We've been here for 160 plus years. We're thinking about that future years from now. When I think about 30 years from now, it makes me think about 30 years ago. And I wasn't here. I wasn't here in the 80s. I don't have firsthand knowledge of the work that Golden was doing in the 80s. But I've heard. Some of you were here. Many of you have heard what was going on in the 80s and the early 90s. And that was that the city of Golden was in a state of decline. Businesses were closing. Downtown was in a state of disrepair. And the leaders at that time made those decisions to put in place programs, to invest dollars, to make changes to the city at that time. And we are all the beneficiaries of those decisions. They made those decisions, and probably 5 years later, 10 years later, there was some improvement, but now we're 20, 30, 40 years later, and there's measurable difference. So that's the scope of the future investments that I think we should be thinking about, and that I like to think about for that future. For the past decade, we know that those investments have made Golden a very desirable place to live. We know it's also a great place to open or grow a business. We have an amazing business community here in the city. And we also know it's become a really great place to visit, as we are now a tourist destination that we didn't used to be years ago. All of that success in the city of Golden. And then you add into it what's gone on in the state of Colorado and the Metro Denver region, which is tremendous population growth. That's added a lot of volume of people around Golden. We are feeling the impacts here. Life in Golden has changed. And so that's where I think the quality of life initiatives that we work on are really to address that those impacts of the success in Golden as well as the growth in the metro area. What can we do to kind of help improve our quality of life? And so there's a couple main themes that we focused on last year that I think we achieved some tremendous success. Starting with our neighborhoods. We heard, many of you heard, you talked about with your neighbors, that speeds in your neighborhoods were a problem. People on the roads were going too fast through your quiet neighborhood streets. These are the streets where, kids are walking to school, neighbors are out walking their dogs, our driveways, we're pulling in and out to go to work. So last year, the city implemented the 20 is Plenty initiative and photo radar enforcement to help keep speeds down in the residential neighborhoods. We've also combined that with a new traffic calming manual, new traffic calming requirements, which are going to allow us, with some associated funding that's been put forward, to actually implement projects in our streets so we can enforce the new speed limits and we can implement projects that will help reduce speeds permanently. So addressing that quality of life in neighborhoods where people were speeding through, not because they live in the neighborhood, maybe some are speeding because they live in the neighborhood, but some are just speeding through the neighborhoods, that we can try to address that calming in our neighborhood streets. Additionally, all the new people in the metro area has brought a lot more traffic on our highways. And Golden is surrounded by state highways. Some of us live next to those state highways. We know they're busier, and we know they're noisier than they used to be. So the city has a renewed commitment to noise mitigation. And we've been able to, given our strong financial position, able to put aside money in the budget for noise mitigation projects along the highways. This means that neighbors whose homes back to front our highways around Golden will begin to start seeing some relief from the noise on our state highways. So some great opportunities in our neighborhoods, again, to help make things quieter and a little bit better for our quality of life. The second is getting around Golden. Some of us maybe want to get out of our vehicles altogether. It's great, speeds are lower, but maybe we don't even want to be in the vehicles altogether. And I know some people, it's they want to reduce their climate footprint, and so there's a reason why they're doing. Others just don't want to deal with the busy streets or have to deal with parking. I know I walk a lot of places. So for all those reasons, I don't really want to drive around every day. But it's not always the most comfortable in certain areas of our city, whether you're walking or you're cycling. And so last year, we've made a concerted effort in mobility and transportation and transit to help get around Golden. So through a great partnership with Colorado School of Mines, we introduced our new transit program, the ORC Cart, which is the shuttle program that goes around downtown. It drops you off right here, School of Mines campus, so that you can leave your car and you can get around central part of Golden here without your vehicle. So the ORC Cart program, great success, launched last year, continuing this year with some expanded routes as well. We also adopted a new new long-range plan for pedestrians and cyclists to help improve those missing gaps where it's not great connectivity, and also improve the safety if you're walking and cycling around town. So we not only approved the plan, but we immediately implemented some initial projects, some early things that we could do. Plan didn't go on the shelf, and this year we've got additional funding to continue making those improvements in our pedestrian and cycling connections. And finally, senior living. City Council's focus in 2023 in our strategic plan included a focus on providing additional resources for a growing senior population here in the city. This included both seniors who are struggling financially to remain in the city of Golden, as well as seniors who wanted more social connection and activities. So different needs, but all under this focus area of senior living in Golden. What's really exciting is because it was a council priority, it became a staff priority, and a couple of new senior directors who were hired for the city, it became their priority. And we have seen through them a renewed focus on greater outreach to our seniors, on ongoing meetings to both solicit feedback and get ideas and work on new programs or opportunities, improved activities from that feedback, as well as new channels for seniors to access needed information. So that focus has really brought, again, some new lines of communication, some new opportunities to support our seniors as they continue to stay in Golden, maybe need different resources, or would like to see some new opportunities. So a lot of that is the work from 2023 that is continuing in 2024. There's more work to be done to improve quality of life for those who are here now. But I'm going to talk some about the bigger long-range work, and that's the investments for the future. So going back to the time of the 80s and the 90s, when we think about some of those changes and how it affected us, there was a decision, I don't know the year, but some time ago, to take Highway 93 away from Ford Street on the north end of Golden and move it to the west in the newly acquired land where it is aligned now. And if you think about that, if you live on the north side of Golden, if you travel through the north side of Golden, what a difference that has made, both in the housing that's developed, in the commuting traffic, that Highway 93 doesn't still go down Ford. And that it's in its new alignment. We know we have projected another new alignment that someday will happen when the Golden Plan and our transportation highway improvements go forward. But it's those types of things that happen slowly that have tremendous impacts decades in the future. I also think, because we talk often this time of year about what's going on in the Clear Creek Corridor, about the folks in the 90s who built the Whitewater Park. And just wonder, and kind of wish I was able to go back in time and sit in that room and say, were they wondering if that would be an attraction? Did they say, should we do this? Do you think people will come? Because I guarantee they did not anticipate how busy the creek would become in the summer when they went from, very few people using the creek and no trails and sidewalks and seating along the creek to what we have today. So thinking about making those decisions now, what will that mean for the people who are here 30 years from now? It's a big part of what I think about. So last year, this is part of the future of Golden, ensuring a stable Golden Fire Department. After at least 5 years of conversation and discussion about what will be the future of Golden Fire, will we continue as a municipal department? Are we going to combine? Are we going to not have a Golden Fire and move to a fire district? City Council made the decision in 2023, yes, it made the best sense for our community to honor our history and legacy and for future service to maintain Golden Fire as a municipal agency, and we needed to fund it properly. So we referred the measure to voters in the 2023 election. I am extremely thankful this year for the work that I'm not having to do, because the Golden voters agreed to continue the Golden Fire Department so that we can continue as a municipal fire agency. We can control that destiny of fire and emergency medical service here in Golden and not have a third outside agency or district running our emergency services. So grateful to the voters. This is ensuring a stable fire department long into the future, because we have predictable funding that's going to be able to provide them with the resources, the personnel, the equipment that we need to handle the emergency needs in Golden. So this year, that is the work that's going on. City Council's not doing the work of figuring out how to ask voters to go to a fire district. The fire chief is doing the work of hiring new personnel, getting the equipment needed, doing the training to make sure we have the best service here in Golden. We continue to work towards housing for all. Council has prioritized housing for a number of years now. And I think it's really, at least in my view, it's recognizing that who can live in Golden really defines who we will be as a community in the future. Because as a community, we are the people who are here. It's not the buildings, it's the people. And so who can live here, is really the defining factor. So housing for all means that future of who can live in Golden. Last year in 2023, this city assisted the Golden Hills Mobile Home Park community in their acquisition of their park. Tremendous effort and work by those community members to purchase their park so that they can control their future and their destiny in terms of financials and remaining as an affordable place to live in Golden. So city was happy to support. I know I cheered them on strongly as they went through that lengthy process, and they are now the proud owners of the mobile home park in North Golden. Also in 2023 and continuing in 2024, we have a series of recommendations that we are considering, policies that we're adopting that have come out of our Community Affordable Housing Task Force, some really great recommendations from community members, as well as the recommendations from our housing needs and assessment that was done and accepted the year prior. So we continue to work on those smaller incremental changes to help make housing for all in Golden. Elevating arts and culture. We completed and adopted Golden's Arts and Culture Plan last year. One of the best things in the plan, I thought, was how it defined Golden's culture, and I don't know if it resonated with you. It certainly resonated with me. And that is that Golden's culture is the intersection of art, science, and nature. And when I think about all of the things we value about Golden, all of the institutions that are here, from the cultural organizations to the School of Mines to all of the things, I'm like, yes, Golden's culture is the intersection of arts, science, and nature. So we adopted the plan, and this year City Council is moving forward with some of those recommendations so that we can implement some changes that's going to improve the coordination and the opportunities for all of the individuals and organizations that exist in Golden. So excited to be continuing that work. And then this last one, reimagining the city attorney office. In 2023, City Council spent a good bit of time working to bring the city attorney function in-house. And I know for some of you that probably seems like it's not a big deal, but it is a really big deal. First of all, City Council doesn't do a lot of hiring all the time. There's only 3 people that report to City Council, so it's not something we do all the time. But secondly, the city attorney had always been an outside firm. We'd always contracted for those resources. We always had a city attorney in an office that was outside of the city of Golden. So when City Council looked at bringing in-house, we not only looked at the financial impact to the city about making the change, but we also looked at the benefits of collaboration, teamwork, and really just responsiveness. When you're part of the team and working in the city, you're able to get things done a little faster. So I am thrilled we were able to hire Sandra Yanis, who's here, as our city attorney in the fall of last year, and that she and her brand new city attorney office and team are now working here in the city of Golden. So huge change for us internally, really setting us up for tremendous success for the future. Some more that are really continuing from 2023, but a lot of effort in 2024. And the first one on there is the Heart of Golden, Phase 1, which is the municipal campus. The plan, the initial plan for Heart of Golden was adopted in 2022. 2023, and 2024 is moving that forward. So as a reminder, 5 years ago, the city purchased the land at the east end of 10th Street with the intention of housing all the things. The city police department, the municipal court, city hall, many of the city functions on that east end of the corridor on that newly acquired property. After 2 years of community engagement, which we called the Heart of Golden, City Council adopted the Heart of Golden plan for the future of the entire Clear Creek corridor, meaning the new buildings or the new municipal facilities on the east. What would happen to the existing facilities? Because that was the first question that people asked. Well, if you're moving City Hall, what's gonna go where existing City Hall is? So that was included in there, as well as many of the amenities that our community members asked for. 2023, 2024 focused on that Phase 1 discovery, planning for what a municipal campus could look like on the east end of town, looking this year to determine what that design could look like. So not just location, but what an actual building and structure could look like, how much funding is going to be needed for it, and really drilling down to decision making so that the effort can move forward. So that's a big focus for 2024. Our current City Hall, where the Golden Police Department is located today, where Municipal Court is located, where many city functions are, but not all, because they're spread out across places, but that singular building has served the city for more than 60 years. So we want to make sure that in designing a new municipal campus, it will serve the community well for at least another 60 years. So big project, big effort for 2024. Another effort, again, continuing from 2023, priority for City Council, and that's city resiliency. We continue to prioritize it to ensure that we are best positioned to handle future drought, flooding, wildfire, and other climate emergencies. We've seen it in cities near us, and we want Golden to be best positioned for whenever it is in the future that it's our turn. And so last year in 2023, we adopted the new drought management plan as well as the waste of water ordinance, which went into effect this year. The city also completed a successful regional emergency management tabletop exercise. And this year, the focus is bringing those learnings, bringing that training and coordination internal to the city for that emergency management response. So something maybe we don't all think about all the time, planning for a future, problem, a future emergency, but really critical work that the city does, and something that, again, from the Marshall Fire to the flooding in Lyons and Boulder, things that we want to make sure we are well positioned long into the future as a city. Considering future development, that's a big thing. That's a lot of things. Again, this has been going on 5-6 years. I think we started 2018, 2019. As properties in Golden change hands and continue to redevelop, the city's been working to define what that future development can be so that it provides greater certainty for all of us, what can happen at that property. So the zoning code rewrite effort continues. Last year in 2023, we adopted phase 2, which was commercial properties. This year, we are looking at, and they're moving forward, phase 3, which are uses, acceptable uses, and that's commercial and residential. So we are continuing with that zoning code rewrite, huge effort, but really going to help us understand future development in the city of Golden. Also in this vein, significant work in 2023, looking forward, I think next month, to maybe having it come to council, and that is the opportunity to adopt new energy codes that's going to help the city continue to move forward in trying to meet our net zero energy goals. So the energy code's coming from a significant amount of work over a number of years, coming to a decision point now in 2024. And then finally, I don't see anybody from my broadband task force group, but there's a lot of work that's been done, a lot of conversation around broadband over the last number of years as well. Last year in 2023, City Council assigned an agreement with Google Fiber that's going to provide some new broadband access and speeds in the city of Golden. So Council signed the agreement last year. Significant work from Giles here in the city to look through all these broadband options, and hopefully we'll start seeing Google come into the city in 2025. And last but certainly not least, parks and open space. One of the many reasons that people love Golden, it's our parks, it's our recreation, it's our open space, it's the beautiful area that we have here and all that there is to do. Very exciting that last year and into this year, the city was able to accept the very long-awaited agreement with Jeffco Open Space for the Bachman Farms property in South Golden. We accepted it. We then annexed it into the city so that that entire parcel of land is available for future park, recreation, community use in South Golden. South Golden was identified as needing a park decades ago. And now we finally have that parcel of land and the opportunity to begin planning to fill that significant need in our South Golden neighborhoods. So really excited for that opportunity and future work there. Also in terms of planning, the need to update that master plan of what do we need in the future for our parks? What are we going to do with our open space in the future? The parks team under Tammy, they are launching master planning efforts, both for Parks and Recreation to update that master plan, as well as the open space master plan. These plans guide our investments, our decision making, what we will do in the future to make sure that we are addressing the highest needs that we have as a city. So a lot of work, lots of opportunity for you all to provide input as those plans get underway with the community engagement portion. So hope you will all continue to pay attention this year. So there's no shortage of priorities. I've talked way too long, but that's okay. I don't, we get to vote on the priorities as council, but the hard work of actually implementing them and doing the day-to-day, keep the city running, is the city manager and the team, the city team, who are all fantastic, and I appreciate all the work they do every day for our city of Golden. So I didn't leave them much time, but I am going to turn things over to our city manager, Scott Vargo, to talk about all the great work going on in the city.
Hello, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me. Yeah. So I'm thrilled, really excited to be here, here in Golden. It's now, let's see, I got here in September of 22, so we're a little over a year and a half, something like that I've been here as the city manager. So this is my second State of the City. I think, as the mayor said, we've been trying different times, different ways to schedule this event. And maybe we've hit something of a sweet spot because we didn't know how many people we would have, but we've done a pretty good job, I think, bringing folks out tonight. And so we're excited for all of you to take the time out of your days to come. I want to thank Meredith Ritchie, who's our communications director, and Rihanna Rogers, who is works within the manager's office, for the logistics and some of the other support work that they did in putting tonight's event together. So we can give them a quick round of applause. I'd appreciate that. I also want to take just a moment to thank the rest of my management and leadership team that are here in the audience. They were here from the beginning, mingling around with the group. I won't name everybody, but again, I want to thank them. I'm privileged to be able to work with such a high-quality group and a dedicated group within my management team. So again, a round of applause for that group. So as the mayor said, so my time's up. So she and I talked before this, and I said I didn't prepare anything in terms of timing. I didn't practice any of my stuff. I made a bunch of slides, but I didn't practice how long it was going to take. And she told me she did, and that she had 20 minutes and I had 20 minutes, and I now have about 7 minutes. And so, but I'm going to take privilege and just go ahead and extend my time as much as I need to. The mayor mentioned, I think she had 4 slides in her slide deck, and she mentioned how old the city of Golden is, about 160 years. So I did 1 slide for every year that Golden was around. And so it may take a little while to get through it, but you guys will bear with me, I'm sure, as we do that. So I'm going to jump in. So I'm starting with jokes. I don't know how long they'll last. I don't know how many laughs I'll get, but I'm going to try and break it up a bit. So we're going to start with a strategic action plan. I'm not going to go into all the depth and detail about what the plan is or exactly what's in it. I just wanted to give people a flavor for what it was. The mayor mentioned it briefly. This is maybe the 4th year of the Strategic Action Plan. Each year we've tweaked it a little bit. It started off in the first year as something like 1,000 high priority projects that the city was going to be responsible for in that year. We've pared that down to about 11 council initiatives that are the key focus areas that are sort of policy and project-oriented items that council is more engaged with or more involved with. And then there's a whole other series of, I'll say 50 or so key projects that are more operational in nature. And then at the very bottom, we have ongoing maintenance and all the other day-to-day operational aspects of the city government. And so there are hundreds of things on that list that we're doing on a day-to-day basis. We like to point that out because those are the things that keep the city running and operating and functioning, but they don't get the same level of attention and interest that some of those other items, those bigger projects do. And so I just want to point that out. I would encourage folks to go to Guiding Golden and to the city's webpage. You can find more information out about the Strategic Action Plan and those projects as well. These are the top of that pyramid that was on the previous slide. So these are the success factors, the 5 success factors that sort of guide an overall philosophy around the Strategic Action Plan. And so you can see active, connected, and sustainable, to the mayor's point about outdoor activity and being involved in a community that cares about the environment and those sorts of things. Affordable and thriving, wanting to make sure that folks that are here can stay here, that folks and families that want to come here are able to relocate and bring a business here and be successful. Safe and inclusive and engaged. This is a big chunk of where we talk about working with our community, outreach with our community, public safety endeavors that we have. Respected and relational governance. This is the variety of partnerships that we have, whether that's with nonprofit organizations within the community, whether that's regional partnerships, our involvement at the state level, and our involvement at the federal level as well. And then the last thing on there is quality services. And this is the idea of making sure that the folks that are working within the city of Golden are providing a high level of customer service, a high level of quality engagement for the community and the residents and visitors that come here. So that's a little bit about our Strategic Action Plan. I'm not going to go into the next level of detail there. So financials. So I want to talk a little bit about financials. The economy within Golden has been growing, is continuing to grow. 2023 represented the highest sales tax collections in the history of the city. And so that's great news. Great to see that we continue to be thriving and continue to be very active economically and diverse economically. There's a document here, a cover page of the 2024 Budget and Review. That's a new document that we published this year that is meant to be a more accessible, a more user-friendly document that does overviews of the 2024 budget, provides some reference back to the past year as well. There are some of those out on the table as you enter into this room. It's available online. We're encouraging folks to use the online version wherever they can. And so I just wanted to point out that that's there. We worked with our CBAC committee, our Citizen Budget Advisory Committee, in the development of that document as well, and received feedback from them, tried to incorporate different changes in that. But again, we're trying to push that information out in a way that it's a little easier than a 300 plus page budget document that is line by line, with a lot of numbers and is a little bit hard to digest. So hopefully folks will find that worthwhile. I don't know if anybody knows what's common amongst the 4 people's images that are on the screen, but that's Cary Grant, Ulysses S. Grant, Hugh Grant, and for my Minnesota heritage, Bud Grant from the Vikings. So we're going to talk a little bit about Grants. So that was my big joke for the night. I needed a little something more for that. All right. I just wanted to give people a little bit of a flavor for how active we are in the world of grants and trying to bring dollars in and leverage resources from somewhere else so that it's not all taxpayer funded. taxpayer funds that are coming in. And so the History Museum, just as an example, they received over $200,000 in grants in 2023 and 2024. We've received about $25,000 in rental assistance grant funding to help keep people in their homes and avoid homelessness and eviction. We have received over $700,000 in sort of directly related sustainability grant funding, EV charging stations, an electric sweeper for our public works folks, electric landscaping equipment for our parks staff, and then air quality monitoring equipment that will be that's in place within the city limits to measure how are we doing from an air quality perspective. Public safety grants, we've got grants related to an auto theft task force. I know that in the metro area, before I actually arrived, the metro area was one of the highest in the country in terms of amount of vehicle theft. There have been some efforts along the lines of this task force to try to impact that. We've seen a significant improvement of that in that area, and we've seen an even better improvement within the city of Golden limits with regards to where we compare to other governments in the region. We have $360,000 in hazard mitigation grant funding. So that's an effort for us to try to reduce the risk of flood and wildfire, et cetera. And then another $100,000+ in other sort of miscellaneous grant funding for the police department and for the fire department as well. So we want to leverage those dollars as best we can. We've got about almost $3 million in funding related to housing projects. So funding from the state and elsewhere to go towards different housing projects within the community, affordable workforce housing projects. And then a really huge grant, and kudos go out to Steve Glick, who I saw here earlier, who is the special assistant to the city manager, something along those lines. I don't remember. He doesn't like any title that we give him, but maybe that one's okay. And to Ann Byerly and her team in Public Works for all of the work and time that they put in trying to secure what's called a PROTECT grant at the federal level to address a drainage issue that we have on the south end of town called Lena Gulch. And so for that PROTECT grant, we're getting $23.8 million from the federal government. We're also, and thank you to Representative Pedersen's representative that's here at the meeting. David, thank you for coming. We've got about $1.4 million in congressionally directed spending, AKA earmark funding, from the federal level as well for that project. And so, again, a total that is over $25 million to go towards what is an enormous drainage project and has huge impacts downstream with mobile home parks that are in Golden Terrace within the city limits, and then downstream further of that, a number of other mobile home parks that are in unincorporated Jefferson County. And all of those are at risk from a severe weather event of being washed away. And so really an important project and tremendous amount of funding that we've been able to secure as a result of the hard work of those folks. Peaks to Plains, so some trail projects, $400,000 in grants associated with planning for that. Our economic development group received a $40,000 grant from the Colorado Tourism Office to do tourism impact and economic analysis. And then another $1.2 million within our public works group related to US 6 and Heritage Road design and efforts on that project. So again, really, really impressive amount of work and effort and leveraging of dollars that can offset some of the need coming directly from our community. So we're very proud of that. Economic development and business support. We have an economic development department. We have a group that's called Visit Golden. Those folks work very closely with one another, along with our community marketing stakeholder group. The Economic Development Group has made contact in 2023 with over 700 unique Golden businesses as they work through different projects and different programs and different outreach to try to help support them. We implemented a new business-to-business website and portal through that organization. We sponsor, in partnership with others, Golden Startup Coffee, a Chamber Summit, Golden Women in Business, Golden Fashion Week. We've recently done a mailer to try to attract interest to Gateway Village and that area, those businesses. Everybody loves Goldens and Golden. It took center stage on my photo there. We're involved in that as well. Sidewalk sales, Small Biz Saturday, Old Golden Holidays, Western Heritage Days. So lots and lots of different activities that we're involved with to try to maintain and generate economic vitality and activity within the community. Really strong visitation numbers from some of the data that was collected. We believe that unique visitors to our sites were over 40% over the prior year. Lodging tax revenues were up over 10% in 2023 compared to 2022. This is an interesting statistic. There were 1,600 media placements. So that's where some other media entity, really at no charge, is in some way promoting or referencing something that's going on or some activity within Golden. And there were, it's estimated around 1,600 of those, which would be valued at about $28 million in sort of free advertising. So that's also very great information, great to know that we're getting our word out there and folks are seeing Golden and interested in it. The DDA, the Downtown Development Authority, has granted nearly $100,000 in different programs to businesses and to the streetscape design that's taking place in Jackson Street. And let's see, what else do I have here? The GURA group, Golden Urban Renewal Authority, Councilor Rob Reed is a member of that board as well. They have provided street project support, so the West Colfax area of over $1 million, and then they are also in the process, along with the city, of providing some additional support for affordable housing project or preservation of a housing project within Golden in the South neighborhood as well. All right, general updates. Elections. Important to know there were 11 candidates for 3 different positions that were up for election within City Council in 2023. Congratulations to Mayor Weinberg. Congratulations to Councilors Vitry and Evans as well on their elections to City Council and to the Mayor. Golden Fire Department funding question was on this past ballot in November as well and passed with 54% support. We also had a retention question around lodging tax that passed with about 80% support. And then we had a charter amendment that was intended to update some language that was out of date, and that passed as well with 75% support. So we're very grateful to the community that they saw those as important areas and that they supported those funding questions and those administrative changes as well. The mayor talked about the city attorney being brought in-house, so I will skip over that. Compressed work week is another area that I'll mention. We have opened up a pilot back in July of last year within the police department. We are approaching a year of that pilot being in place in the police department. We've recently rolled out a number of other areas within city government to participate in that pilot as well. And our next update to the community is on August the 6th. And so I encourage folks to come to that if you have an interest in that project. At this point, it has been quite successful, and we're really pleased with the results. And we'll, again, provide an in-depth update to folks when we meet on the 6th of August. Communications, I do want to talk a little bit about this. We are trying to increase the level of communication, the different opportunities, the different vehicles that we use to get word out, to get information out to the community. So I've got a couple of pictures there of different things. We've got the Golden Informer on the left-hand side. We've got Guiding Golden, which is a website tool that we use. We've got just signage, for example, within the creek where we talk about the rules within Clear Creek corridor. And so I just wanted to share the fact that we've got a lot of different things. We're doing a lot more public outreach, a lot more open houses and different events where we try to share information and receive input and feedback from the community as well. And so I encourage you, and I really appreciate you coming to this event, and encourage you to come to other future events that we do for outreach and open houses as well. All right, I found this cool tool, this word cloud tool online, and so you don't have to actually have like a list of words, you can make up the words, and that's what I did. And so as the mayor talked about quality of life, I just kind of was thinking along those lines and what fits within that. And so obviously community, accessibility, outdoors, character, active, fun, bikes, history, quiet. We hear that a lot around quality of life issues. And so, so we built this little word cloud just so that it could kind of emphasize how many different things fall in that category. And some of the things that we're doing to try to address areas where we've been having conflicts or where we've been having challenges. Transportation, traffic. So we've implemented the Orcart shuttle system in partnership with School of Mines. I expect to see that that will grow. The activity around it has been really positive, and the adoption of that has been great. Interstate parking, just this, the 1st of May, we rolled out the new parking management vendor. We've got a different system for folks to be able to manage their parking. We expect to have more routine, more consistent enforcement, because that's all that those folks are out there to do, is to make sure that folks are following our parking rules and our parking regulations. We've tried to make it simpler for residents with a free 2-hour parking, which has been in place. But in the past, you had to go and use a kiosk, or you had to sign in every time you wanted to park downtown and take advantage of the free 2 hours. Now you register up front one time, you put your license plate in, and then you can go anywhere where those free 2-hour zones are, and you can park without having to sign into a system or worry about that. And so we've tried to make that easier for everybody. Bike and ped improvements, I won't go into details there. The mayor talked a little bit about that. Comprehensive plan, open space plan, parks and rec plan, all of those are endeavors that are taking place in 2024 to try to better understand what the future looks like and engage with the community to understand if we're on track, if the things that we had planned previously are still relevant to the community, or if we need to make changes. Noise mitigation is a big area of concern. I mentioned quiet up on the slide. We've got a number of areas that are, again, adjoining a number of major highways within the city of Golden. And so we've put aside additional dollars this year to try to start to bite off some of the big capital projects that are associated with noise walls or other mitigation techniques to try and reduce the noise that folks encounter within the city. 20 is plenty and photo radar, the mayor mentioned. Creek management, always a hot button topic. Probably the one topic that can generate the most interest with a simple email or a simple item on an agenda at council. And so we continue to make incremental improvement around creek management, trying to better understand where the visitors are coming from, how many there are, when they're there, and how can we manage that, and how can we reduce the impacts on our residents while still allowing for that amenity to be a public, open amenity for folks that are coming in, and in some cases just enjoying the outdoors, and in other cases coming in, enjoying the outdoors, and frequenting different institutions and locations within the city of Golden, and drawing energy and vitality to the community. We've got some other upgrades, hugely important restroom upgrades. When I was in Summit County, we used to have a COO breakfast with all the ski resorts, and Loveland would come, and they were always the small entity compared to even A-Basin, and then Copper Mountain and Breckenridge and Keystone. And they would always come in with a picture of whatever their new restroom or their new toilet looked like. So I didn't put any pictures in, but we are upgrading a number of our restrooms within a number of locations within the city. So that's important for folks. Pickleball courts are being built and constructed at Grampus. We've got a significant renovation and upgrade of Ulysses Park that is getting close to getting kicked off. We're working really hard with CDOT to get our traffic signals along Ford and Washington upgraded to smart signals. We got another significant grant associated with that project. We continue to run into a variety of challenges with a state bureaucracy that is CDOT, but we have not given up, and we will continue to push hard until we can get that thing done. Let's see, I think I'll go on to the next. All right, thriving communities. So this is a new area within the city. The lodging tax passed. There was a lot of conversation about visitor impacts. There were talk about thriving communities and thriving community grants. There were a number of areas when I came on board that I found we didn't really have people that were assigned to work on them. So we had programs and projects and expectations, but it was kind of whoever happened to be standing in the wrong place at the wrong time got charged with doing something in addition to everything else that they were trying to get done. So we brought in a Thriving Communities director so that we could pay the appropriate amount of attention to these different community efforts and community issues. So that's around homelessness, that's around workforce or housing for all, that's around diversity and equity and inclusion programming within the city, among other things, senior services, et cetera. And so Sarah Vane is sitting in the back. She's the Thriving Communities Director. And so she's taken all of that on. And she is also finding that even as a whole new person to do all of these things, that it's a lot to do. But we're working through those issues. That group, that Thriving Communities Director, has given out $1 million in the last 2 years to local communities through grants, $500,000 each year. They are providing about $300,000 in rental and food assistance programs. Thriving Communities is working with both the lodging tax revenue as well as our marijuana tax revenues. And really all of the marijuana money is geared towards rental and food assistance programs at this point. Again, senior services, recreation, social programs, navigation, and referral services, trying to get more attention towards those issues within the community. Expansion of our co-responder program. So that's a program that Chief Harvey began within the police department. We've pulled that co-responder position into Thriving Communities. They still work incredibly closely and still live within the police department. And we're expanding that to have a second co-responder because there are a lot of folks out there that the police department encounters that have mental health issues, substance abuse disorders that need a different kind of intervention than they would get in a traditional law enforcement contact. And so Chief has been incredibly supportive of that, and we're really proud to see that program making impacts. Mayor mentioned the financial support that went to the resident-owned community acquisition in Golden Hills. And then again, there's about a $2.7 million DOLA grant that has been approved for a development called Cavalry Flats as well. So we're very excited about all of that. I only have 147 slides left. All right, public safety. Everybody likes to talk about public safety. We have taken a new, renewed interest in emergency management and emergency planning within the city. That's an operation that is working within the police department. One of the commanders there takes the lead in that. We've begun to do more training, more education with our management and leadership team. We're going to be doing training in 2024 with City Council as well, so that City Council understands what their role is when they're involved in an emergency, or we're involved in an emergency as well. We've upgraded our alerting systems along with Jefferson County. That was a critical issue in the Marshall Fire, where there was a lack of alerting or questions about alerting, and so we think we're in a much better place than those communities were at that time. The Golden Police Department has gone through a strategic planning effort. They've created updates to their mission, to their vision and their values. They're embarking on a significant program around equity-based policing and spending a lot of time this year working through that to make our department as good as it can be and as sensitive and as appropriate as it needs to be within our community and treating people with respect and dignity, et cetera. The Golden Fire Department, again, we've mentioned this a couple of times, the appreciation that we have that the community supported the ballot question to provide a proper level and an appropriate level of funding to Golden Fire Department in the November 23 election. And we're now starting to see that bear fruit. So we've got a whole bunch of positions that were identified leading into that ballot question that are being hired and coming on board. We had opened up a second station 24/7, 365 in the fall of last year, and we're continuing to operate that as well. We've got a new tower truck that's going to arrive at some point later this summer. We get routine emails from Chief Beal there in the back with a photo album of them building this thing. It's amazing how long it takes to build a fire truck. And it's amazing how expensive it is to buy a fire truck. We're looking at an electrified fire truck perhaps in the future as well. And so we'll see if that comes to fruition. And then again, a greater focus on community risk reduction, greater focus on fire prevention and wildfire programs as well, wildfire mitigation. And so all of that is to say thanks. So there you go. How late am I? See, that's not bad. Only about 20 minutes long. So I hope that was informative. I hope that was helpful. We did put a Q&A section on the agenda, and so we did get a handful of questions. I'll try and answer some of those here quickly if I can, again, read in the dark. The other stuff I'm more familiar with, but let's see. One of the first questions that we received was related to homelessness, and it was, what are we doing about the increased homelessness situation within Golden? And I won't say the whole question, but that's sort of the basics. Oh, thank you, Carly. This one? Okay, great. You all can see me better, but I still can't see anything. Oh, that's fabulous. Thank you so much. Now I can see. So I just wanted to go through a little bit of background. We have basically, we are very aware that there is an issue, that there's a challenge. It's not an issue that's isolated to the city of Golden. This is an issue that is certainly region-wide in the Front Range. It's certainly an issue that is in a number of other states as well. And we know that some of the big causes associated with homelessness are when you have a limited housing inventory and you have incredibly high prices. So it makes it more and more difficult for folks to find stable and appropriate housing. What we have in terms of our three, I'll say, overarching goals are to stop homelessness before it begins. So what can we do from an eviction prevention perspective? What can we do to make sure that folks have the services that they need, the support systems that they need in place when we're first understanding that they're getting close to a situation that may find them homeless? And so that's one big goal. We want to prioritize the safety and the security of all of our residents within Golden. And so we take very seriously when there's misbehavior, when there's inappropriate behavior taking place, whether that's with the homeless population or any other population within the city of Golden. And so if you're encountering troubling circumstances, or if you're seeing illegal behavior, illegal activity, we do encourage you to contact the police department so that they can be aware of it. They'll catch things, in their normal patrol activities, et cetera, but they're also not going to see everything. They're not everywhere all the time. And so we need to have information coming from the community when they see concerning behavior and activities so that we can react to that. And then we try to take, again, as respectful and dignified an approach with those folks to try to provide not just ticketing them or trying to send them to jail, but trying to understand what has put them in the position that they're in and how can we try to manage through with supportive services and other resources to get them out of that situation that they're in. So if that's substance abuse, if that's mental health issues, again, we have co-responders. We have a homeless navigator program as well, where they're doing outreach on the street, trying to make sure they've got the documents and the information that they need to be successful, to try and get a job, to be able to access the services that are important for them to be able to find a different path from where they are right now. So those are some of the things that we're doing as it relates to homelessness. Again, we know that there are changes coming likely in this arena. There's a Supreme Court case that we expect to hear some response to around what are the authorities and the opportunities for communities in terms of addressing homelessness. And so we expect there'll be some changes, perhaps some adjustments to our protocols and how we interact with folks that find themselves in that situation. But that's to be determined. We think late this summer, maybe early in the fall, that we'll get a decision from the Supreme Court to address that. Let's see, what other questions? I had a couple of questions, or one question that was related to the Jackson Street improvements. Let me see, it's related to parking issues and concerns about potential loss of parking spaces as part of the Jackson Street redesign. And so there is an effort right now to identify different options within that program or within that area to try to revitalize the activity, the amenities, or create new amenities within that part of Golden. And there are both of the options that are out there, or the options that have been discussed, do in fact reduce some parking in some areas. We do think that we're taking all of that into consideration as we look at this and hear feedback from the community. But we also know that there are 2 parking garages that are very close by that we do believe can accommodate, for the most part, the displacement of those parking spaces. And we're doing some things to try to improve those parking garages. So we've tried to make improvements in lighting and in the feel of safety within the garages so that people are more comfortable parking there. We're trying to make parking itself easier for residents within those garages. We're also have counters now within the garages, and so folks can go to the website. We're going to have a new website launching in sometime this month, we hope. And we'll have a parking counter for the 2 parking garages as well as the 10th Street lot that tell you how many spaces there are, how many spaces are occupied, and so therefore how many parking spaces are available. So you can go to that website, you'll be able to see that and know, well, I've got 150 parking spaces to choose from in the garage. So because we do find that many times those garages are not in any way fully utilized. So we want to take better advantage of those. All right, that's that question. Let's see. We just got these questions earlier today, so I apologize that I'm a little bit discombobulated on them. Let's see. There's a question about lighting up crosswalks. So the idea of sort of flashing signal indicators, et cetera, at the 2 crosswalks on Washington near the creek. And we do have a program within Public Works where we do pedestrian signals. And so we've taken that feedback from the folks that sent this question in. We'll add them onto that list that we have. But we have to prioritize, obviously, over time, all of the different needs for signals. We don't believe, from a safety perspective, that that's the highest priority set of signals or sets of crosswalks because they're very well known and very well identified and ingrained sort of within the community. But we do recognize that, and we'll continue to have them on that list as we prioritize and work through some of those signals or those crosswalk areas. All right, and then the last couple questions we had were related to the Heart of Golden, related to the municipal campus project. The mayor talked a little bit about the Heart of Golden in her speech, talked a little bit about the background and the amount of time that's been spent, the need associated with the project, trying to set the city of Golden up for the next 50 to 75 years from a facility perspective. We have a number of deficiencies within the spaces that we have now, whether that's folks officing in what were historically closets, or putting storage in spaces where it may not be secure and it should be secure based on the types of things that we're working with or utilizing within certain areas. We're very much spread apart into a number of different facilities. And so this is an opportunity to consolidate and put everybody together, think towards the future about what does Golden offer to its community for the next, as I said, 50 or 75 years. And then we've talked a little bit about the costs. So if we stand pat, stay where we are, we don't make a move, don't go to another facility, it's not free. We've been trying to do some more estimates around what would it cost to renovate the City Hall space, to upgrade other facilities that might need some different changes. How much more, or is there more space that's needed because of the way things are configured? And we've come up with a number that's probably conservatively $25 to $30 million to make those sorts of improvements and those sorts of changes. That still doesn't get us to the point where we're then consolidated into one facility. We're still then spread apart. We have a history within City of Golden of silos. We have a history where different departments function in a very isolated fashion. And the idea of having folks in all the different separate facilities builds on that siloing. And so since I've been here, I've been doing what I can to try to break those silos down. But until we're all co-located, it continues to be a challenge. And so we're looking at some of the efficiencies and some of the effectiveness that we would gain by going in that direction. There were some concerns in the questions that were posed about what does this mean financially in the long term? And are we going to find ourselves, if there's a recession or some sort of downturn, where we can't pay the debt associated with the certificates of participation that would fund a project like this? And we've gone back, we've done analysis, we've looked at the amount of dollars that are coming in today. We've looked at the impacts that we saw when we had the Great Recession, when we had the pandemic. And in those cases, again, we understand how much we are subject to dropping. What kind of a decline might we see if we're hit with another significant event like that? And we're still in a position where we're going to be able to cover that debt service and be able to move forward with other projects and other programming. So it's really important, I think, to understand that we're not putting forward a project that we believe puts the city in some level of financial jeopardy. And we also understand that some folks don't agree with this project. They don't agree with the need. They don't agree with the dollar amount that's associated with it. I will say that we know the number feels large for a project of this scale, but it also is the cost of doing business now. If this had been built 10 years ago, we'd be looking at a very different number. So if we don't do it now and we wait another 10 years or another 20 years, that number is going to become even larger and more astronomical in people's perception. And so what we've tried to do is come up with a plan that we think is appropriate and reasonable and sets us up for success as an organization long into the future. So that's the answers to all of the questions that we received as best I can do. And that's it. Nola, you have some closing remarks?
So let's give a big round of applause and a big thank you to Scott and to the mayor. That was a ton of incredible information, so thank you all so much for paying attention and listening. And for those folks that are going to be watching this later, thank you so much for tuning in to make sure that you're making yourselves aware. Again, part of being a flourishing community is understanding the issues, and so we appreciate each and every one of you for coming out tonight and taking a few moments to understand what's going on in our community. So again, thank you so much. We've got a few minutes left here, so I'm sure if you have some individual questions, you can hang around for a few minutes and ask those. But again, enjoy your evening, and we look forward to seeing you at the next State of the City.